Welcome to the 2020 Fanatec GT World Challenge Asia, powered by AWS. I can't tell you how good it feels to be able to say these things. It's been 32 months since the last round of the GT series over here in Asia, and then of course the pandemic intervened. We lost 2 years of racing, but we are back, and in fact it's fully 37 months since we were last here at Sepang, always the place we start the series. And what a brilliant circuit on which to go racing. Plenty of scope for overtaking, little bit of gradient change among the 15 corners, and I really expect, even though we have just the 8 cars have come here to Sepang, they're all GT3 cars, we've got some of the top runners, and for the next round when we go to Japan, we'll have 3 times that many, at least 24 cars coming out to play. We've dipped our toe back in the water, we are going racing again, and that is really, really what counts. And we've got a mixed grid, we've got a Ferrari on pole for the first race, and for tomorrow's race, we have a Porsche, so plenty of manufacturer variety, and Mercedes looking to get in on the mix as well. Hot and humid, of course, that's what you'd expect here, but most importantly, we are going racing again. The Fanatec GT series spread all around the world, but this is the Asian series, and it's the first time we've been racing. I'm just going to say it one more time, for 32 months. So, of course, we're bouncing around on the balls of our feet, ready to tilt in and see what's going to unfold over the hour of racing ahead. And if you're new to this form of racing, it's a 1-hour sprint race, and somewhere between 25 minutes into the race and 35 minutes, the driver who starts the race will come in and hand over to a teammate, and they will then go back out to finish the race. Of course, with that 10-minute window, you can choose if you want to keep your starting driver in for as long as possible or for a shorter time as possible. But the way the grid is stacked, largely the second drivers, the driver 2 on the list, is the one who's got a bit more speed and experience. So expect the pit stops to be at the front end. But really what I want to look back to is when we went racing in 2019, and the racing was fantastic. Let's take a look at how it unfolded. Here are the highlights. well. I had almost forgot just how fabulous the racing was. It was nip and tuck, push and shove, a little bit of hip and shoulder. It was brilliant. And one of the keys of Fanatec GT, we race on the very best circuit. Sepang is a brilliant place to start. Let's go down to the grid where my partner in crime, Claire Jedrick, it's great to have her back. It's been 37 months and Claire should be raring to go down on the grid.
Hello, welcome back to the Fanatec GT World Challenge Asia. Yes, my name is Claire Jedrick, and I cannot believe that I'm back here at Sepang, Malaysia after 37 months. And I tell you what, Malaysia does not disappoint. He says it's hot, he doesn't feel it, but I do. My feet are on the circuit right here. It is, I'm just sweating out here. It feels humid. I cannot imagine, actually I can't imagine what it's like for the drivers back here. But whatever it's going to be, we're here right now. It's an action-packed weekend. We've got the manufacturers back, some old faces, some new kids on the block. But first, I think I want to have a little chat because it's very important to know what is going down. And he's heading up the Fanatec GT World Challenge Asia. We have Benjamin Fanatec. Thank you so much for being back here. Just tell me what is going down with the series. I mean, what does it mean for the series to be back? First of all, in Malaysia, Sepang.
We're finally back in Sepang, where it all started back in 2017, where we had 30 cars, and the last 2 years we've been at home waiting for restrictions to get back to normal, and we're nearly there. We got our first round here. We've been waiting 2 years, and we're very happy to be here and happy with how it's turning out. It's our first round, and when we're in Japan we'll have a few more cars, so really it was important to start here and do it at home. Sepang is like our home track for us.
Well, thank you so much, Benjamin. We'll see more of him and the action back on the circuit. We're going back up to that lush voice of reason, Bruce Jones, up in the commentary box. Bruce?
You're way too kind, Claire. Thank you very much indeed. Great to have you back. And yes, that's a factor people don't understand if they're not in this part of the world. The sheer heat that comes up through your feet off the grid. So think what it's like for the cars as they sit there. They need to get moving. And Claire will catch up with some of the front runners down on the grid. But I think Benjamin Fanatec, what a pat on the back he deserves. Because I'm sure plan A, plan B, plan C, D, etc. Work your way through the alphabet probably went out the window. He's worked so hard to get it going. And I think the response, particularly from the Japanese teams, of course the Chinese teams can't come and play because of all sorts of restrictions, but we will be back, we will be stronger. But look, we've got 8 cars here, but they're all top quality cars, and we're going to more than treble that in Japan. That's great to hear Benjamin saying 25 cars or more for the first of the Japanese rounds at Suzuka in the middle of July. So that is great to see. An hour of racing is about to start. A rolling start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All the cars are there. It's Naoki Yokomizo on pole position. Adrian De Silva alongside. Looking at the lights on the gantry. They're on red. They're on green. Nice quick early flick, and it's actually caught Adrian De Silva out. And into second place goes Prince Abu Bakr. He's tucked in behind Abu Bakr Ibrahim in second place. The two EBM Giga Racing Porsches are side by side, but a brilliant start in the number 91 Audi for David Jun. He's moved up into 4th, trying to get into 3rd. He's got the nose in front, yeah. Elf Bar livery car up into 3rd place. That was pretty sensational from 6th to 3rd, so great start there. Now, on real race form, you'd expect Naoki Yokomizo to be setting the pace. Really, you wanted Adrian De Silva to be up alongside him. He was only a 1/5 of a second or slightly less than that behind him in qualifying, but Adrian's now going to have to play catch-up because that was a poor start, and the number 11 Porsche, whoa, we nearly had contact at turn 4, such a tight corner just on the crest of the slope there, but just unfortunately pulled out. And so our pole sitter looking very comfortable, and in behind him Prince Abu Bakr Ibrahim settling into second place. Adrian De Silva will be kicking himself, but now he's got a job to do. 1, 2, 3. He's back in 5th position at the moment. That was a stumble. Just didn't read the lights because they went very quickly. Red to green. Yokomitsu in the Evo Racing Ferrari got it absolutely nailed down. But Adrian De Silva, as you can see on the graphic on the top left of the screen, has fallen from 2nd on the grid down to 5th place.
Well, I'm keeping my eyes on Shaheen as you speak about the front leader over there. I'm looking at Shaheen because I really think now he's come off 0.1 seconds. I feel like he's slipstreaming just behind Pan. He's waiting for that moment to pounce at him as he goes around certain turns here at Sepang. And I do think we're going to be a little bit upset to go into 3rd position for Shaheen and Han.
I think that's a good call. I think he's actually looking at him in qualifying and expected Yasser Shaheen to be making sort of more speed early on, but I think he probably knows other circuits rather better than here.
So we've got plenty of time still left on the clock right there, but like exactly what you said, De Silva has clocked in some purple sectors, and like you said with the Abu Ibrahim, it's going to be quite interesting. I think we're going to have a chat with Jeffrey Ibrahim as well tomorrow, and see what's been going down, but it could be just down to testing. I think Abu Ibrahim, because he's new to the scene, he's probably had a lot more time out on circuit, perhaps.
And while you were saying that, Yasser Shahin thought, you know what, I'm tired of running around in fourth place, I'll go to third. So classic overtake into, guess where, turn 15, the final corner of the lap. He'd been hunting him down and trying to go into second place, but no, not quite. But there we are. It just simply unfortunately for David Button, just outbrakes himself, and you could sense that Yasser Shahin was looking. Maybe he spotted that weakness the previous lap and put the pressure on, but he made the move.
Oh, okay, we're going to see a move there by Jeff Abraham, but what is going on?
I'm beginning to wonder if there's been a little bit of contact. Because I said maybe he's lost his mojo for a bit, has to get it back, a little bit rattled having been passed by Yasser Shahin. I'm just wondering if he's got a slight slow puncture there, because that was a very easy move for Prince Jeffrey getting past him. There was no resistance. It looked as though the out just wouldn't go where David Pun wanted it. So we really need to get an image of that. We'll have to wait quite a while. He's fallen way down the other. Here's second place, the treble 8 Mercedes. Abu Bakr, he looks quite comfortable still, but Sam Shahin is getting closer, isn't he? It's not just my eyes.
No, yeah, absolutely right. And I think, I'm not quite sure if he's, if it's a slow puncture, you want to be able to hang on. When do the gates actually open?
Gates are I so love that.
I love saying the gates.
Well, they open up between 25 and 35 minutes into the race. So when we get to 35 left on the clock is when they open.
Although he's not going to have enough time if it's
no,
a slow
but I'm
puncture.
just trying to see what his lap time is, because no, he hasn't dropped.
Well, on there he's gone into seventh place. It's just we're just waiting for the bit of a lag and update there, because we still have like fourth on the screen, but that's all right there. Yeah.
Right, he's stone last, so is he coming into the pits? Well, Mercedes is coming into the pits.
Yeah, so that would be Abu Ibrahim. So I'm not quite sure what's happening.
Okay, well, I'll just throw something out there. After one of the sessions, it said Triple Eight to come to see race officials, stewards, but I think that was after the second session. I think that was Jasmine Jafar at the time. So why is Abu Bakr nipped down the pit lane?
That could be a good question. I'm going to see.
But he didn't have any trouble. His previous lap was down by about a third of his second on those before, but I thought that's all right. He's used his tyres. That's not good. Straight into the garage now. Okay, so that is not a normal pit stop. This is something untoward. By going in the garage, more mechanics can work on it than if it's still in the pit apron. Oh, and David Pun hasn't made it back to the pits. He had whatever the problem was. We didn't know. We wondered if he could get it, if it was a slow puncture as far as the pit window opening, but has pulled at the side of the circuit. So Sean Thong may not be getting a race after all today. Have another chance tomorrow with his own qualifying position. So suddenly, in the blink of an eye, 8 has become 6, and Claire is going to possibly go on down and find out what is happening down there. Thanks very much. So, well, most extraordinary. I mean, we understood there was something wrong with David Pun's Audi. That's the number 91 car. But the 888 Mercedes back into the race after its pit stop. So whatever that wasn't a standard pit stop, but something has been fixed. And the driver who was running second is back out onto the track. Will be last, but that means 7th, because really last is the car that's parked at the edge of the circuit. David Pun, the 91. And the margin comes down a little bit more by a quarter of a second. Oh, and De Silva through the final corner, having to really chop across the bows of the sister car for Setti and Juan Santoso. So 4th and 5th for EBM Giga Racing with their Porsches. And I suppose De Silva must be thinking, it looked so he sort of had it covered. It didn't look as though there was going to be any move from Santoso. Then Santoso's going to start diving up the inside. So you can see Adrian De Silva. Oh, and Santoso's gone for a spin. So suddenly the pressure is off, which actually is going to preclude what I thought might be becoming a problem, because of these two cars, the full season entry is the number 8. So you really want to make sure that one goes on and gets all the points it should. But that little rotation has certainly delayed Setti Juan Santoso. He's got going all over again. Now, how much of a margin would that give him? Well, he was 18 seconds clear of the number 51 AMAC Motorsport Porsche, and now with the spin and the recovery, that will be considerably less. So through turn 6 goes the 8 Porsche, but that was a setback. was on. Let's take a look at the replay. Diving up the inside. Oh, I didn't really mean to leave the door open. You could just see Adrian himself could hardly get his Porsche, the number 11, to turn in, and it was a real squirrely moment there. Won't have done that either with tyres, sets of tyres, any good indeed, and then just clipping the inside on turn 2 because the track drops into the corner there, and just slightly unweighted, round it came. Luckily no one else was behind, so immediately behind, so no damage done there. That was a very, very good stint from Naoki Yokomizo, and then Shogo Mitsuyama will take over. As I said, that would be towards the end of the pit window. I could have done another lap or two, and also the 888 Prince Abu Bakr Ibrahim in as well, but he is almost the entire lap down after that visit to pit garage. So we kind of haven't found out as yet what it was that forced him in off from that second position. I think we're starting to see some very quick times are coming because Earl Bamber's flying around the circuit. Reed Harker's going even faster. That's in the sister car, the number 8 Porsche. Oh, and a new fastest lap of the race. Nick Foster up into that second place in the 99 Mercedes. Right, we wanted to know what the gap was. Well, the Ferrari is just in front, waiting for the cars to cross the start-finish line, but should be a lap between the two cars. But the Ferrari's always had very, very good straight line speed, beaten out of the corner, but yet accelerates past down the start-finish straight. So coming on down, but Foster into the lead of the race. The Ferrari just had a really, really slow pit stop. Now with that pace now, hold on, let's have a look. It's out of that. We have to see its pace next time around, but its sector times are way, way down, so I think we can almost strike the order there. Faster pit stops and put Nick Foster, but he didn't put him into the lead. He came out in second place. Got past Sandy Stewart, that's become the lead. Earl Bamber has moved up the order with those stunning laps. Reed Harker is going faster than anybody else. His last lap, 2 minutes 7.165 seconds, was the fastest slot. That's the replay. Look, the Porsche's ahead going out of the corner, but wait for it, and the Ferrari just gets going so much better. The Porsche wasn't out of shape, but I don't really understand how that happened. But Ferrari, you look at them, you can just see it's lower, wider, sleeker, and lighter. Both of them slightly lighter. Certainly one of the cars has done that thing that drivers don't like to do. A, touch another car, but B, leave sharp bits of bodywork on the start-finish straight. Hopefully, people can see them. Hopefully, the marshals will be able to flag that up and let the drivers at least know they're there. The mystery was the very slow pit stop for the Gibo Racing Ferrari. Now, one thing I was saying before the start of the race, the experienced teams, they know how to do this, but for AMAC Motorsport, they're out in the apron because they're getting used to it with a different car, not a Lamborghini, how to get drivers in and out of a Porsche.
Absolutely, it's a bit of a struggle race for Bamber, especially when the tyres start going towards the last 5 minutes. Well, we've got 6 laps. You think we got in 6-7 laps to the finish line? It's going to be interesting. I think the fight with Foster Bamber, as well as this guy we were talking about with in between Harker and Stuvik. Yep, it looks like things have pretty much settled down. I'm not quite sure Bamber's going to be able to make it.
No, and I think the only likely change we were going to see was if Ben Porter could keep that attack going to catch up with the Ferrari, but it's now nearly 5 seconds between them and their lap paces.
Yeah, he hasn't made much of a difference in the last 2 laps, going from 5.3 to 4.8.
Yeah, but
enough.
Yeah, it was closer before, and then the Ferrari pulled away, and now he's starting to come back. The car that will be starting on pole position tomorrow will be in the hands of Earl Bamber, who's chasing down the race leader. Now, has there been any change at the top of the VMAX speed trap? And the answer is no. It's still 150.4 miles an hour. Fastest car in the field, the Naoki Yokomitsu driven Ferrari as it was then. Now it's driven by Shogo Mitsuyama, who still is circulating in 4th place. But today the story's been about Ferrari leading away in the opening stage of the race from pole position, helped by Adrian De Silva, the outside the front row, having somewhat poor start. The lights very quickly went from red to green. I think he was a little bit caught out then by the time he got to the first corner, found himself on the outside line where it's very, very dusty indeed. Got dirt on his tyres, it took a while to get it off, but then picked his way up the order. We've had other people coming up and down the order, but the story for the 99 car, it fell as low as 6th in the early running of this 8-car race, the opening race of 2022. Picked its way back up the order, and suddenly after a very, very slow pit stop from the Ferrari that was in there for an extra minute and a quarter over its rivals, even being a second and a quarter slower than the rivals in the pit, can lead to problems. So but for a slow pit stop, well, how's that? The extra time spent in the pits was a minute and a quarter, and Mitsuyama is a minute and 5 seconds in arrears. Doing the maths on that, he would still be in the lead of this race, but unfortunately when he came out into 5th place. Others have had problems, like Sammy Student dropping out. That's why he's moved up the order to 4th. He's been pushed hard by Ben Porter in the AMAC Motorsport Porsche. But that hasn't managed to depose it. And the 99 Mercedes, not far to go now. Nick Foster will be putting a big smile on the face of his teammate, one of the princes of Johor, Prince Abdul Rahman Ibrahim, races as Jeffrey Ibrahim, and he's only got one more corner for his car to go because Nick Foster is bringing it home. He's been looking in his mirrors, he's been seeing that little by little Earl Bamber is possibly gaining, but he'll be known from the pits as around 5 seconds, 4.5 seconds. That's perfectly comfortable. So victory, the first one of 2022, Fanatec GT racing here in Asia for the first time since 2019. Goes to Nick Foster, flashing the lights, second place, 4.4 seconds in arrears. Goes to Earl Bamber, giving chase, and we heard that the steering possibly wasn't totally straight, and the sister car from EBM Giga Racing, the second of those Porsches, takes the checkered flag. But victory today, the opening round of 2022, goes to 888 JMR, and it's the 99 car that Nick Foster brings to a standstill right under the lofted podium. He drives under the Fanatec GT arch. Job done well, quite a narrow arch. And beside him the grey, white and black Porsches of EBM Giga Racing. But
Nick, tell us what was going down. Bit of a shuffle up there. I'm sure victory sweet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of those ones where you don't look a gift horse in the mouth. So we'll take that, and it's creditor Eamon with everything going on. He kept his head, kept it clean, brought it home, and then let me do the rest.
Always wish of winning here, and especially with Nick and the team, and hopefully we were hoping for 1-2. It wasn't easy for us all weekend, and just to have this, we had our heads down and keep on pushing and never give up till the end, and then yeah, happy.
And in first position, car 99, Jeffrey Ibrahim and Nick Foster.
well, two incredibly happy drivers on the top step of the podium. I'd say those in second and third pretty pleased with life as well. Welcome to Sepang. It's great to be back. 37 months ago we were racing here, 2 years off because of the pandemic, and yesterday we relaunched. It's the Fanatec GT World Challenge Asia, powered by AWS. We got off to a flying start, plenty happening in the opening race. Looking forward to very much the same, but in a different order. Yesterday's start drivers are the ones who take over in today's 1 hour race, so the grid totally reshuffled. Racing is going to be thick and fast. This is such a brilliant circuit on which to go racing. All is set. The lights are red. Now it's a very short, it's another short hold, and who's got the better start? Looks like a good start from Earl Bamber. Both the Mercedes going very well indeed. In fact, Nick Foster trying to get into the mix and trying to go around the outside. Reed Harker's decided that's the place for him to go. 3 abreast for second place, and Reed Harker goes around the outside. Will he make it the long way round? It is a long way round. It's a very long first corner. And it looks like he's right. Got up 1 position from third to fourth. You can see on the outside line it's a much longer one, but Nick Foster in the 99 Mercedes has got into second place, and that means that Jasmine Jafar from the outside of the front row has had a similar fate yesterday's Adrian De Silva, dropping down from second to fourth position. Sean Fong didn't depose them, but already Shogo Mitsuyama has gained a place in aquamarine Ferrari, so goes up to 6th place. Sammy Stubert's been put back to 7th, and Ben Porter bringing up the rear. But it's Porsche Mercedes with an Audi on the tail. Welcome to the commentary box, Claire. Nice and hot down on the grid, but cool in here, isn't it?
Oh, it's great to be back in this aircon little box here. But yes, I mean, exciting stuff there. Unfortunately, it looks like Jasmine Jaffa had a bit of a slow start, so I'm a bit disappointed because I was really looking at them to be a top 3 top 3 and to really hold that position all the way down, especially with that amount of experience. Yesterday they were very strong, Abu Ibrahim, and as I asked him, a very vague answer, something about some coolant, some oil, technical difficulties, but yeah, that would probably been enough to set some alarms off to bring the car back and save it for today.
Banda has just built another second or so into that lead, 3.4 seconds to good. It's a phenomenal early run. Yeah, well,
but I always see that Mutsuyama still on the top speed there, 241 on the traps, 241.6, so he's got some speed, he just doesn't have the pace.
Right. Oh, and a mistake. Unfortunately, Sean Thong has gone wrong. He's gone off our screen. That's at the final corner. Brake too deep. He's deep in the gravel. He was, he was under pressure from Sandy Stubik, his teammate, and I think took his eye off the ball. Just looking to see where Stubik was. When you passed your braking point, where was my braking point?
And that's a place that always happens down at turn 15. That's one of the places you go a little bit too deep, and then you just kind of understand, just go straight off. It's just not enough.
Okay, well, Sean Thong has sort of decided to come into the pits, but I think that's because he ended up pit in.
It was a one-way.
Well, he came out of the gravel, and yes, he couldn't rejoin the track. Let's take a look. So the two Audis coming up the back straight, and really at that point you say that Sean Thong is far enough ahead. He's 2 car lengths clear or so from Sandy Stubik, but he's looking at his mirrors at that point, isn't he? He's missed his point.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, I don't know if he's touched the green, and I don't know what's happened, but he went. Oh, if we had another angle there would have been. It looked like he'd gone a little bit on the green. I don't know if he had lost grip all of a sudden, and had just gone off and just gone really wide over there, which is it's a bit of a strange place, but it just It
is. He wasn't under. There'll be many, many times to be under much more pressure into that corner. I think
absolutely.
He momentarily double-checked his safety check, really. Just check he's not driving on the inside. No, he is. Oh, good grief, I've gone too far. Now, he's having the pit stop, but we need to bring something into the mix when the cars that haven't had problems come for their pit stops, when, as you described them, the gates of hell, I do love that phrase, rather than we call it the pit window being open. 3 cars, the top 3 in yesterday's race, get a pit stop penalty for their success.
Okay, we're just looking at Sean Thong's car now. I'm seeing what's going on now in the issue. There's even a brake issue because they've taken the rear right off. I'm not quite sure what is going on because the mechanics they're checking up on that licorice packet.
Now let's take a look at the race vision powered by AWS VMAX speeds, similar to yesterday. And you know what? Which car's fastest? In a straight line, it's the Ferrari yet again. Quite a tidy margin, nearly 1.5 miles an hour over Reed Harker, the best of the Porsches. But look, we've got 3 makes of cars in the top 3 positions. So the Porsches and the Audis are pretty similar for top 9 speed. Where is Mercedes on that map? They're running 2nd and 4th overall, but they're not out there. So not so good in a straight line, therefore their strengths lie elsewhere. It's a battle for 2nd place between the Australian driver Nick Foster and the New Zealand racer Reed Harker. This is the closest it's been now, and I think Reed Harker's thinking, you know what, I'd like to make the move before the pit stops. The pit window opens in just over 5 minutes. But again, he will probably not be coming in for nearly 15 minutes. In fact, I don't think any of these will. They'll all come in on the final lap they possibly can before the pit window closes. So, Prince, Jeffrey, Ibrahim, and Smart, I'm concentrating. You've got a camera in my face, and I'm trying to do one thing, and you're trying to pick me up on it. But there's his car, the 99 car, still hanging on to 2nd place. But I think a bit 2 wins out of 2 at Sepang is going to be a big ask today. And of course, they've got 15 seconds extra at the pit stop because they won yesterday. So success gives a slight smack on the back of the head and a punishment in some ways, but it balances up the racing.
We see there the Ferrari coming in now for their pit stop.
Yeah. Okay, Claire, there's your clue. We knew we were not going to get down to pit exit before that Ferrari leaves, unless they have a nightmare like yesterday. But the Ferrari was always going to be the first one into the pit stop. As soon as the pit window was open, Shogo Mitsuyama into the pits, already out of the car. Nice sleek pit stop. Let's hope the mechanics get the wheels that go on the back. And yesterday there was a slight confusion. Once it should have been, I can't remember, front to rear or rear to front, but anyhow, that cost them a lot of time. They were an extra almost a minute and a half. That really hurt them. But just remember, though this car came in from 6th place, this is the car that yesterday was on pole position with the driver who just over. Like today, before the pit stop, was a dozen seconds clear. Yoko Yokomitsu was also a dozen seconds clear before his pit stop. That looks more timely for the Ferrari crew. In fact, they've got it down on the deck. Gibo Racing, they have to wait until the car can be flagged away. That's because they have to get to a minimum time in the pits of from pit in to pit out, with the pit stop being made in between in 135 seconds, 2 minutes 15 seconds, and I'm sure they've got that right today. And it should emerge on the track just in front of the race leader Earl Bamber. Maybe get a long shot and see it coming out. Still that battle for 2nd place. Still Nick Foster from Reed Harker. And I sense actually Jasmine Jafar has got a little bit closer, might have found half a second, more than 2 seconds off their tail. So Earl Bamber still got time to stay out, but if he doesn't come in enter pit lane from the top of the screen, you can see it counting down to just over 28 minutes. Once that gets down below 25 minutes, too bad, there'll be a penalty. So his team will be keeping him well and truly informed of he's got this lap on one. Maybe this is the last lap that he will do before coming from pits. With the pits a lap time of 2 minutes, yes, there will have to be. But after the pits comes the 91. Audi driven twice into the pits by 3 times into the pits by Sean Fox. It's only once for a regular pit stop, and that will now be handed over to David Punt, who made a bit of action yesterday that he didn't want to have. Punt here or there, the damage, and took the 91 Audi out of the race. And Reed Harker is in this time around. So Jasmine Jafar, Malaysian driver on home ground, promoted up into second place on the track. Earl Bamber still leading this race by, well, it's now 19 seconds over Jasmine Jafar. Don't forget Jasmine before a few cars came in front of him, running in 4th place. The car that was running 3rd is now at a standstill, now up on its jacks. And Setiawan Santosa, driver from Indonesia, comes into view, gets into the cockpit, and Reed Harker reverses out. The driver who gets out is to make sure the teammate is properly in the seats and held strapped into position. But again, with 135 seconds, it's mandatory pit stop minimum. Plenty of time for that, and add to which there's an extra 5 seconds because that number 8 Porsche came home yesterday in 3rd place overall. The AMAC Motorsport Porter's in the pit, so Ben Porter's run is done. And we should go out with Andrew McPherson shortly. But just remember, the number 8 car in from 3rd position, an extra 5 seconds at the pit stop for that one as success penalty. And there comes Ben Porter parking up, and it's all the figure of Andrew McPherson walking out nice and gently onto the pit wall, onto the pit lane, doesn't have to rush. Ben Porter does have to rush to give as much time for the incoming driver, Andrew McPherson, to get on board. Right, yesterday's winner was Nick Foster. He worked very hard indeed. Claire Jedrick's caught up with him.
Was it just something to do with the car, or it looked like you were kind of sliding out a couple of laps, but you managed to keep Harper back?
Yeah, I don't know. At the start of the race, definitely, like, it didn't really feel, the track temp didn't feel as bad, but then as soon as the race got started, it's like the sun just came glaring down. So yeah, we're just kind of sliding across both axles, can't really do much about it. So anyway, got a good start. Sort of, that's as much as I could try to do. I think the Porsches are just too fast. Like, yeah, Reed and Earl could just stop the thing and turn it, and yeah, we were on the struggle street a little bit. But yeah, anyway, did what we needed to do. Unfortunately, we got the 15 seconds added after yesterday. So yeah, we'll just see what Eamon can do now, and yeah, go from there.
Thank you. Back to you, Bruce.
Thanks very much. There's another phrase to put into the logbook. We're on struggle street. I like that one. Very Australian phraseology there from Nick Foster. So there, he is Australian. Right, the top 2 into the pit lane now. Earl Bamber out of the number 11 Porsche. That means Adrian De Silva will be getting on. Jasmine Jafar out of the AAA Mercedes. But this one, as Prince Abu Bakar Ibrahim gets ready to go out, doesn't have any time added to his pit stop. That should be a big helping hand. But the number 11 car did have the extra 10 seconds. But don't forget, that was sitting on a lead of 18 seconds or so. That's invariably going to come out in front. So Adrian De Silva leaves the pits ahead of the Triple Eight Mercedes. So success pick ballast has brought it back towards the Triple Eight Mercedes. It was 18 seconds, looks more like about 8 seconds as they go back out, which is pretty fair since it was an extra 10 seconds. Let's do the maths. Overall time in the pits. See, you think, oh yes, but in fact, Triple Eight JMR, no extra time penalty. They did exactly the right time in the pits, 1 minute 35. 1 minute 46, which is 11 seconds more. So the number 11 actually squandered a whole second there, but will that be enough to topple Adrian De Silva from possible victory? But Adrian, the Malaysian racer, delightedly racing at home. So dear, insufficient pit stop time for both of the Audis from Team X work. So a stop and go for 1 extra penalty. That's not just stopping for 1, it is stopping for 1 second, but it's more than adding 1 second to your time. So now the chase is on. Right, second place. Bakar Ibrahim is being hunted down by Setiawan Santoso. So there was no pit stop penalty time added to the 888 crew, but because of that, the number 8 Porsche is behind it, has been ahead. Of course, that was a Porsche number 8 running in 3rd, and the 888 was running in 4th before the pit window opened. But now you can sense, let's look at their their respective lap times last time around. There's a second and a bit advantage for the chasing Setiawan Santoso. I want to look back behind as Yasser Shahin has taken over the number 22 Audi. He's in 4th place, but he's got a time penalty to serve because the pit stop was of an insufficient amount of time. He didn't go to the 1:35, 35. He went just a second short of that. So into the pit lane, stop for 1 second to get that second back and out again. That's cost you a lot of time. So unfortunately for the 22 Audi team, that's going to knock them back down the order. And the sister car, which is stone last in the hands of David Punt, that also will be knocked back, but having been 4 laps down, those 2 extra pit stops doesn't really make any difference. They can become last in this race coming from May. But who's going to win? Is it going to be Adrian De Silva? 11 seconds to good. We've got 80 minutes on the clock. And last time around, it was Adrian De Silva. And good news for his teammate Earl Bamber. The car was faster than the 2 chasers. Right, 11 and a bit seconds to good. Adrian De Silva. 888 Mercedes coming around the final corner of this 15-turn lap. Let's see what the interval is this time. Is it north of it at 10 seconds? 10.3. So, in fact, last time around 7/10 of a second gained by the younger of the Princes of Johor. So that is a good chase. He's now 2 seconds clear of Setiawan Santoso. I really thought Setiawan might be able to set around and make it 2 Porsches in the top 2 positions, but 888 Mercedes being driven very, very well indeed by Abu Bakr Ibrahim. He's clearly looked, listened, learnt and watched intently as his brother Prince Jeffrey's been racing with Mercedes in recent years and putting it to very, very good effect. Prince Jeffrey, 99, just turning into turn 1, ahead of the 91 Audi, which is really going around enormously fast. In fact, last lap wasn't too bad at all from David Hunt, but he looked a little slow there into turn 1. 888 Mercedes certainly isn't slow, very nicely indeed. In fact, fastest driver on the track last time around, with the exception of Naoki Yokomitsu. Naoki has got to gain 7 seconds, just under that, to catch up with Yasser Shahin for 4th place, but Yasser's got to serve a visit to the pits for a stop-and-go penalty, so that really will scupper his chances. But right now, I think you can safely say that the race is settling down very nicely indeed, particularly if your name is Adrian De Silva, not just because you're racing on home ground, but you're leading on home ground. Ooh, a little bit of a twitch there from Setiawan Santoso. We saw the number 8 Porsche going for a spin at turn 2 yesterday with Setiawan at the wheel, but he just got it slightly wrong there, so his chase of Abu Bakr Ibrahim would have had a little bit of a setback there. That would give a bit more breathing space. So Adrian De Silva looking nice and smooth at the front. He's not under too much pressure. Yes, the leads come down from 11 seconds to 10 seconds to 9 seconds to 8.4 seconds, but look, 8 minutes left on the clock. He's got this one back.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And looking at the straight line speed as well, I mean, from 241.6, these guys are about 3 kilometers faster traps there for the speed traps. I definitely can't make it. Car's going pace, he's driven how it should be. He's really pushing to the limit. He knows he's going to be chase, especially for points wise. This is going to be important for him, especially in the overall. But yeah.
Yeah, and I think that is a really important point. Okay, well,
There
we've had
we
a change of position. He hunted him down, and Naoki Yokomitsu has moved past Yasser Shahin, so he's up into 4th place overall. Now, straight line speed is important, and which is fastest? The Ferrari. Both drivers have set an identical speed. Shogo Mitsuyama, who started the race, and then Naoki Yokomitsu. But again, it's still 1 mile an hour faster than the rest, and that straight line speed is fantastic. Interesting hearing the Porsche versus Mercedes drivers about how the Mercedes driver have more punch out of the corners, but then the Porsche is just so well balanced, so what they don't get, you know, they gain back in other ways. But yeah, there is Ferrari's supremacy, clear for all to see. But at the moment, the fastest, well look, everybody was lapping apart from Naoki Yokomitsu, the 2-minute 10s. Fastest driver last time round, just talking about him, Abu on his home circuit, Abu Ibrahim, 2-minute 9. That's very good at any point, but at this late stage of the race, when the tyres are crying enough, frankly, but it's hot out there. And if you watch, wherever you are in the world watching this, you have no idea about the heat and humidity. There is plenty of both, I think we can say.
In fact, even just sitting here, even though I'm in the AC, I can feel it blazing through these UV windows. It's no joke out here. Malaysia is hot. I mean, these guys, they always talk about Formula 1 drivers losing the amount of water, but these guys in the GT cars, I mean, you're strapped in. It's bare essentials inside the car. It is a hot house in there. It's ridiculously hot.
But what you have to sort of counterbalance that with Okay, most of these drivers are doing about half an hour in the car. You think about some of the endurance races held around Asia through the summer months. Hideous, because you could be doing a double stint, you could be 2 hours in the car, so 4 times as much. That is, yeah, you must start whatever you are, you must feel like a smaller version of yourself by the time you've got to the end of your stint, let alone the race. Goes beautifully balanced there, sitting on a lead of 4.5 seconds, and despite the flashing of the headlights and the sheer desire to get up onto the tail of Adrian de Silva, I think Abu Bakr in his heart knows that he has done all he possibly can, and I think later he'll reflect on, you know, what a great performance it has been to come through to this second place. So Jasmine Jafar, this car of course didn't have any pit stop penalties. Jasmine knew that, wasn't prepared to take risks. Fourth before the pit stops was fine. They were second when they came out of the pit stops, and that's what's counted. So up towards the final corner for the final time, again flashing the lights, but look, anyone knows full well, even with the foreshortening, that's a lead that will be insurmountable.
Maybe he'll take a second too long and miss that last turn. You know, there's all that youthful, hopeful wishing for that last turn, but I think we're coming up here now to that finish, the start-finish line there with Adrian de Silva in car number 11 alongside with Earl Bamber taking that P1 position, and clearly right behind him, deservedly up on that second place in the podium, Abu Ibrahim in car 888.
And the number 8 Porsche made it a 1-3 for EBM Giga Racing, and Setiwan Santosa coming home suitably clear of Naoki Okamitsu, who drove a brilliant second half of the race, as he did in the first half yesterday. Top results for the number 11 Porsche from EBM Giga Racing. Great result from a driver short in experience, big on enthusiasm. That's Abu Bakr Ibrahim on home ground. Second place, his brother Jeffrey Ibrahim won yesterday's race, but first and second for the two princes of Johor. That's pretty mighty collection on home ground. And Setiwan Santosa will be bringing the number 8 Porsche down to alongside the sister car very shortly to be greeted by Reid Harker. But Reid, who's in there, he's just walked across to congratulate Adrian de Silva, his teammate.
Winners of a race to Earl Bamber as well as Adrian de Silva. Adrian, fantastic drive. You kept it controlled out on circuit. Tell us, what does it mean, home circuit?
Oh, after 2 years, it's lovely. I really miss this track. 2 years not being here. It's phenomenal. Earl did a phenomenal job. Left me that gap. We had a longer pit stop than normal because of the penalty, but nevertheless, all I got to do is just bring the car home. Yeah.
And fantastic drive. You kept that distance ahead for Adrian.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he was doing a fantastic job. He's been doing a lot of hard work in Europe while we've all been closed up in Asia, and he's come back. You know, he got second in his qualifying group, and yeah, I knew we could definitely get a win. We overcame the additional time from finishing second yesterday, and I'm just really proud for him. After, you know, so many years and so much hard work to get a win in GT World Challenge Asia, it's awesome for him.
Congratulations, boys. Any last words, Adrian?
No, but for the fans, welcome back. Sepang is open again.
Thank you. Back to you, Bruce.
Thank you very much, Claire. Great sentiments there from co-winner Adrian de Silva on home ground. So let's take a look at the result. 4.1 seconds was the margin between Adrian de Silva and Abu Bakr Ibrahim at the end of the race. Earl Bamber and Jasmine Jafar, their partners in crime who started the race. And Setiwan Santosa bringing home the number 8 sister Porsche of the race-winning car after Reid Harker kicked it off. So let's take a look at the highlights. How did this result occur? It seems more than an hour ago. It was only an hour ago when the race kicked off.
Overall, in third place in car number 8, Setiwan Santosa and Reid Harker. In second place in Triple Eight, Abu Bakr Ibrahim and Jasmine Jafar. And in first place, Adrian de Silva in car 11 and Earl Bamber. And now we gladly invite Masahiko Ida-san, the founder of Edixel, to award the trophies.
So the points are clear at the end of the opening round, and we have set the championship fair. Been great here at Sepang. Thoroughly enjoyed being back in the racing world all over again.